Good evening. I'm Jim Rogers, and joining me up here is Alice Houston. Welcome to the community session of the Presidential Search Listening Tour. On behalf of Chairman Raymond Burse and the Search Committee, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to chat with us about the presidential search. At the end of the session, you'll be able to ask questions and also share with us what you want to see in the next leader of our community. We'll begin by asking you some questions. Search Committee will use this feedback from all the sessions to create a leadership statement / job description for the presidency. If you're in person and would like to speak, please come to the microphone so people online can hear you. And if you're online, please raise your hand in Teams and we will unmute you so you can speak to us directly, or you may use the use of the chat feature in Teams and we read the comment aloud. So with that, we'll begin.
All right. Thanks again for everyone's participation. And thanks to John Thornburg from Whitkeeper, our consultant. And at the end, you will be able to ask the consultants any question according to timeline, process, and anything that you might want to ask. Well, let's kick it off because the University of Louisville is an integral part of this community. And this particular listening session is for those in the community. And so we want to understand from you all what is distinctive about the history, mission, and culture of the University of Louisville. What do you think is really significant and distinctive about our culture and mission and history at the University of Louisville?
Please.
And would you, when you come up, can you state your name and um, involvement in the community or? Passion for the university, and those of you online do so similar.
My name is Wayne Holloman Sr. I had a son that attended here. I have a brother that graduated from here. I've got a lot of kids that I have mentored that have graduated. I live in Cardinal Village. So the majority, I guess I'm the old guru of the village. The majority of the young people that are living there, they're pretty much getting ready to graduate, postgraduate, PhDs. So what they don't get from their homes, from wherever they live, they come to talk to me. Why? I don't know. But my concern is the city is progressing. It's changing. We have had protests. We have had elections. We've had everything going on. And the community is changing. We're trying to become that modernized city that everybody wants to live in. I talked about it all the years I was gone. I was in the military. For me, coming back home was great. Watching my son attend this school was even better. My brother, and like I said, I have a lot of people, my fraternity brothers, the other 8 Black Greek organizations, I consider them brothers and sisters. Our interest is seeing how this city and how this university is trying to prepare itself in accepting more minorities in positions. Myself, I'm here because I like to see this committee consider a black man or a black woman as president of this university. As we have demonstrated in the city, we are progressive. We have a female police chief. The university itself just hired its first black head basketball coach. So these things might seem trivial, but in the bigger scheme, they add up. And when you're trying to recruit minority students, and you're trying to recruit not just black, Indian, Latino, everything other than white, you have to have that decent sitting there. We need someone who can be a consensus maker, somebody that can bring everybody together, that has a good rapport with young people, that has a good rapport with business people, with city government, state government, for that much even federal government. But my interest here is not just because I want to see a black person get there, it's because I want to see this university become the people it should be. We are the largest city in the state of Kentucky. And we should be that beacon on the hill. I'm not worried about this school down the road. They do okay work. But this is the school I choose. This is where I live in. I do community work. And I advise kids to go here. I've even advised kids to go to Dr. Burke's former university, where he was president. My reasons are is because we need to put out these people that we see in a good light instead of always a negativity. And it hasn't been happening. So my reason for being here is to say, please look at that. I know all the points about what's going on in the university. I tend to look at a glass as being half full instead of half empty. And we're at a half full, so that's still it.
Well, thank you, and I want you to stay right there because I have,
Okay.
and I did, no, you can sit down, but stay close because I have a feeling we're gonna hear from you on a number of these questions. I sense your passion and thank you for your involvement and mentorship.
Okay.
Are there any online? Do we have anything in the chat, Jake? If you just raise your hand or make your comments in the chat, but if you raise your hand, we can zoom in on you as if you were right here with us. What
We have a comment from Jill. What makes U of L distinctive is U of L and the city of Louisville are totally intertwined. I can't imagine one without the other. U of L exists for Louisville, and Louisville contributes mightily to U of L.
true? We all know that great communities have great institutions as part of their foundation. Anyone else? What is distinctive about the university history, mission? We go to the next question.
Number two, what are the top 4 or 5 academic, strategic, operational, financial priorities the next president should focus on out of the gate? Again, that's academic, strategic, operational, and financial priorities. What should be their primary focus? Not which one's most important, but kind of all, what are the different priorities?
Well, I'm thinking strategically, that's almost stated as we see it because of the university's position in the city. Um, Academically, I'm not fully aware of all the academic programs, but what I am aware of is how the city is trying to attract more businesses to headquarter here. So I think the School of Business is going to play a major role in that. If we can put out the graduates that become highly visible across this country, that light shines back on this city and this university. It shines back on the leadership. It's a reciprocal process because if you have a good leader at this university and that person is able to attract those kind of students in, that's going to bring the accreditation to this program here. If that president of this university is able to work with community leaders, business leaders, just basically cover the whole spectrum of what this city city needs by working from the mayor's office on down. I think basically, strategically, academically, business, I'm not so much up on the financial aspect because I don't know the salaries that are involved. I do know that we need to get more tenured professors. We need to get more minority professors on board. A few years ago, we had a big migration from this. And I mean, we didn't have probably 150 minority, but black professors had period after almost 1,800. That's pretty low considering population size of the black uh, citizens of this city. We're talking about 50 years strong, 1,700, nowhere near close to what it should be. Same thing for the Latino population, or Asian population. But those percentages, greater numbers than what we do, attract those kind of students. Those students that graduate translate to the next leadership, the city, the I didn't attend the university, Western Kentucky University, but the big thing is this is my home. This is where I came back to raise my family, and I'm proud of this city. I've seen at its worst, at its best. I've seen this university go from the small campus citywide. When I came back home, I was surprised how big. Living right across the street, I had 30 seconds off this campus, off this campus every day. So I meet and see all these students, and I know half of them like, why are everybody talking to the old guy? Because young people are important. But we don't think so as we get older. We get set in our ways. These young people are progressive. They are coming in with an age that we don't see. And U of L has been right there on that cutting edge. Technology, medicine, the two things that's going to push this city forward and push this country forward. U of L's right there in the mix of it. And we need to attract those kind of students who want to come here and do well and flourish after they leave here. So, like I said, I don't know much about the financial, but strategically and business wise, those are the most two important things to me. I'm hoping shall get a leader that exemplifies all of it.
Thank you. We see why people come to the old guy. No, not at all. What about
Jill has a comment online. Our next president, hopefully, will be an academic, strategic leader with the ability to direct U of L today and into the next decade and beyond. University presidents have to be a bit clairvoyant, so to speak, seeing what's next in higher ed and positioning their institutions to thrive and succeed in whatever the future holds. Strategic skills are imperative.
anyone else from online? And Jill, you have probably introduced us into the next question, one that we've had um, some real dialogue and discussion. And you indicated that the leadership was going to be tremendously important. And so the next question really is what career experience or academic leadership competence will best equip our next president to accomplish these goals? And we've had discussion as to whether they should have been a provost or president, or whether they should come from research, hard sciences, or whether someone in business, law, the other professions would best uh, bring the skills and resources for leadership. And so, what do you all think, both online and way? Uh, should it be academia? Who are the best person out there with the competencies?
Well, I think you need to have a leader that has that. You can't just take this kind of position and not have some experience. I think that you have to have the experience of leadership. I think you have to have shown that you can bring all groups of people together, that you can mix academics with business, with law, with the prevailing thought of what's going on around that university, not just within the faculty, but the students, the community at large. The community has a way of promoting this university that most people sitting up in those offices don't see. They see the business people, but they don't see the regular community people, the ones that are just out here working every day, spending their pennies, their nickels, dollars, whatever, trying to make a living. But they support this university in a way that, like I said, if you're sitting in the office, you really don't see. But people are wearing a shirt from a university that they've never attended, but cheer like crazy for their program and applaud these kids when they graduate. And they want to know these kids. These are the examples they put to their kids, their grandkids. Want them to see these kids as they graduate. I'm thinking that the leader that you should have here is somebody who is going to walk among the people and not above the people. A lot of presidents, we know their names, but we wouldn't know them by face. But you need someone that's going to walk out there and every day see what's going on. Instead of sending a representative to come back and tell me what's going on, he or she is going to get out there and see it for themselves. You can have a committee all you want, but nothing beats what your own eyes and ears see and hear. And that person has to be somebody who wants to be hands-on, not just get a report from here or there. They need to be totally involved. They need to bring that kind of experience. You ran a business. You started a business. You started it by yourself, and it grew. It grew, and you brought people in. Do you ever let go? Or just say, y'all run? No, you don't. Because that business is a reflection of you. And you have to always maintain that touch, that viability with everybody you serve, from the lowest to the highest. See them all the same way, and you try to find that gentle mix that brings everybody to the table. It's like making a big stew. Everyone has a little bit to put in it. It's always that one little ingredient that makes that flavor. That's exactly what you want. I think the leader needs to be somebody among the people, from the people.
We've heard that theme a lot in the last 2 days. We really have.
We do have a comment online from Francis. Strong research background, whether bench or community. We need more research resources and a stronger research infrastructure. And Jill concurs with that statement.
I have a question. Research is fine, but wouldn't you want somebody that more encompasses more than just research? For me, research is a real good thing, but you need somebody that can reflect on research, reflect on business, reflect on education. People don't want to see a one-sided picture. I don't see a president as being one-sided. From being in the military, the one thing that I was always told that four-star general sitting at the top, no greater than that private E1 at the bottom. Because if that E1 fails to do his job, that's a long way to fall for a four-star general. And you learn to have pride in things and you put your sweat and blood into them. That's the kind of leader you want to have. That somebody's going to come in and hit the ground running, start making a consensus, bringing people in instead of pushing people out. Find the weakness, fix the weakness, shore it up, and then show everybody the product you're really trying to put out. We've had good leaders. I followed it. I try to stay out of those kind of politics, but this time it's a little bit different. And it was important enough for me to come over here and at least say something about it. But I think you need to have somebody that reflects on the 5 points that y'all want instead of just one, two, or three. You should have all five.
Along those lines, and touched on a little interpersonal skills, personal qualities, best equip the new president to work effectively within the culture of the university, business community, city, and the state. What type of interpersonal skills, personal qualities?
I think the person that takes that position is going to be a person who can, like I said, walk among people, that does not offend people when they walk into a room, that knows how to talk to people and listen. And there is a big difference between talking and listening, because most people that love to talk don't love to listen. But when you got someone that's asking you, how can I make your life better? How can I make your position better? How can I make this university better? How can I make this city better? That's the person you want to listen to, because they're not saying, what about me? They're saying, what about us? They want to bring everybody to the table. And you need that. You got to have that.
Jake, we go back to
Yeah,
Francis's
Francis had a
and read that, because I think that this question might have some input on this question also.
certainly. So regarding research experience, she just wanted to reiterate that it should not be the most or the only important characteristic. If U of L intends to continue to be a strong research institution, and we are an Carnegie R1 research institution, which keeps public institutions open and prospering, we need leadership who understands the processes of research and scholarship.
Wish they were in the room, but I could ask her a little bit more about that, because that's a yin yang that because we are so involved in so many different aspects, we need to.
Francis, if you're online and in a position to turn on your microphone, please feel free to expound on that.
One second. And can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am happy to. Can you hear me?
We can clearly.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dr. Fran Harden Fanning, and I am the Powers Endowed Chair of Nursing Research in the School of Nursing. And one of the priorities of the School of Nursing, as well as the University of Louisville, is to continue to be a very strong research oriented institution. And I think it's important that the person who will be overseeing all of the research activity at the University of Louisville be very much aware of the barriers that we face, as well as the facilitators that have been very successful in moving us forward. So I think that that's a very important characteristic for any university president, irrespective of whether it's metropolitan or wherever they are, a private institution, that they're very much aware of what it takes to actually conduct research. And again, as I said, either bench science or, a lot of us do community research, and we need those resources.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All of us are passionate about this community. All of us are passionate, I think, about this community and this institution. And so, if we were convincing someone to come to the University of Louisville, what would be our narrative? What would be our selling points that would make someone want to come to Louisville and leave wherever they may be. Because I'm assuming that there will be applicants and there will be people too that the search firm will earmark and tell them about Louisville, the region, the institution. And so, what are some of the attributes that would make someone want to come to Louisville?
I think right off the bat, people would look at the city for what it is. It's probably one of the best cities I've lived in to raise a family. It's not perfect. We're going through the same growing pains that any other major metropolis has grown. But I think what would attract the type of leader we want here would be size of the population, size of the school, the degree programs that the school offers. Does it offer more than just a certificate or an associate's degree? Does it go all the way up to as far as a PhD? I think that Louisville's prominence nationally would be one of the biggest attractions, not just because of sport. We have people from the city of Louisville that have done well in their career driven profession that have come back to Louisville to live. You know, they have lived overseas, they have lived California, Florida, New York, DC, Texas. But for some reason, just like me, you come back home. It's a different flavor. It's kind of a mix of a big city with a small city feel. And you can feel the potential. You see it every day. And you've got to have someone that when they walk in here, they recognize, they know what it is, and they see the direction they want to take. You know, politicians will always have their way of doing things. That's whatever they choose. But this university has to be above politics. It's got to be about the city. It has to be about the total picture of this city. Where does it fit in? And what is it trying to do? And I really think that that person would be attracted by the size of the city, the size of the school. And I think if they come in and they see what they call small fissures of inefficiency, they know they can fix it. They know they can. They don't come in and guess they can. They know they can. They've had that experience of taking something that was broken, mending it, and building it back up. And that's what you're going to make this work.
Anyone online, do we have any comment? Okay.
We do. Again, Francis says, I found that U of L is missing the insular silo mentality. Let me read that one more time. I found that U of L is missing the insular silo mentality present at some other universities. U of L schools and departments tend to be unified in goals and objectives. Very pleasant working environment because of that.
That's good to know. Anyone else have any comments on our selling points as an institution and as a community?
States, and this is from Jill, the person who comes to U of L will be able to make their stamp.
So we've just come up with 5 questions today, but I don't think we touched everything. So is there anything else you all would like to add that we didn't ask? Or are there any questions from our consultant who's here today with us, Tom Thornburg? Feel free to ask him a question.
Well, I came here with other motives also because I have a person that I'm really hoping to see make it to your list of candidates. I've been knowing him for over 30 years. He is already an experienced university president. He has proven that he can bring community, business, just every leader in a community together to get one project done, and has helped. Just, I'm not going to mention. I'm not going to mention his name or where he's at. But the minute that I heard that Dr. Bendapudi was resigning and taking position at Penn State, he was the first person I thought of. He's homegrown. He is a Louisville native. He is well accomplished. He has all the skills that this university seeks in its leadership. And I believe that very strongly.
Hope you share that name with Mr. Thornburg in
I
private.
will. Now, I'll put it to you this way. The last person I thought that much of was my father.
Pretty strong. That's a pretty strong recommendation. Does anybody have any questions for John? And if not, John, can you, even if they don't have any questions, I know that, would you tell us a little bit about the process and the background of the firm? Because we have academia and we have research. And
Thank you, and good afternoon again. John Thornburg, Senior Partner with Witt Kiefer. We are working with the board and the search committee to begin the process very shortly of recruiting strong candidates for the board's consideration. Our time over the last 2 days has been spent listening and learning a lot of good input from people inside and outside the university, and we'll be looking forward to finalizing a profile which we'll be using in our outreach, which will take place over the summer. We expect that the search committee will begin its interview of candidates in the fall and be prepared to then recommend a finalist candidate to the board. So we're excited about this journey ahead, and again, appreciate all the input we've received.
Thanks, John. So if there are no other questions or comments, this concludes the listening section. On behalf of the search committee, thank you all for your thoughtful discussion today. If you have any additional feedback to share or have any questions, Jake's going to tell you where to send it to.
Yes, thank you. And I'll also post this in the chat for everyone. If you visit uofl.me/PSC-feedback, PSC is in Presidential Search Committee. Again, uofl.me/PSC-feedback. You can also view the Presidential Search website itself, which will have links to that form, as well as plenty of other information about the search, and that is louisville.edu/presidential-search. And again, I'll post those in the chat.